Welcome to week 3. Whew. So your experiences matter. What does that mean? This is definitely where we have to take a moment today and think about how a lot of this is going to be reinstated in the sense of common sense, but not common practice. This is where we take our thoughts and really show how much they do still matter. But guess what? How we feel, what we do, and what we experience also matters. Because when we go on this journey of breaking through our thoughts, our mindsets, our past beliefs, we also have to line it up with our actions and how we can start to thrive and be able to take that next step to having the experiences that we desire. So the first step towards awareness, the first step towards change is awareness. And that is just in itself so powerful because when we aren't aware, how can we change that? If we're not aware of the thoughts that we've had in the past have affected us so much on our experiences, how can we move forward? I just shared on my blog about these exact situations. And a lot of you have already gotten back to me, so I want to just be able to express to you a little bit how that has done such a lesson for me. I'm so aware of my past experiences that my mom could not, do a lot of things in the sense that she had a disease, she had a fixed mindset. And then I go to now and see how did that past experience go into what I do? How I be, how I feel. And it showed up in a very different way. She had no energy. She lived in pain. And I lived in pain as well. I live in pain. It's still, I'm in that healing process, but it's something where you guys have taken, take this for face value. When I say I'm doing the work with you, I am doing the work with you because this was hard to come to the realization that I'm aware that I need to make this change. I'm not intentional about how to eliminate my pain that I have with my pelvic floor. I'm not intentional about why I felt that was somewhat normal in the sense that I didn't make action on it. I knew it felt weird, but I didn't make action on it. So what does that look like for you? Because we always talk about how we think and all of these things and the thought process behind that, and that's vital. But when are we going to switch to where we are going? Because when we act in response to what we expect, we will participate in sharing the real events that occur. I'm going to repeat that for a second. When we act in response that we expect, we participate in shaping the real events that occur. Because we are so used to how experiences are going to be because of our past beliefs. We are so used to that is just a way of life for us and it's never going to be different. That's why change is so hard. Because not only you have to be aware, first step, you have to also go through those uncomfortable thoughts, and then you actually have to make action on it. So what does that action look like? Each week, we're always going to be doing 3 goals. So you got 3 goals in your hands right now. What are you going to do with it? Or are you going to stare it down and say, no, my past beliefs is what is going to keep me here. Because then you're coming into your future, your present beliefs. And this is going to now take you to your future expectation. This is what thriving forward really is. Let's take your beliefs. What is the beliefs that you stand on? Not what the past told you, not what someone else, told you, because guess what? They have the tools and resources that they did their best with. You now have new tools, new resources, and a freaking mind and way of being to do it on your own. These are now your beliefs. Because when we take others' beliefs, which we can, I have a ton of beliefs from my past that I appreciate and still use and still live by, but there's also another part of me that have my own. Because beliefs are stored points of view that we think are true based off experiences. That's what beliefs are. So if we believe that we aren't good enough, we aren't smart enough, we can't achieve our dreams because it's just been over and over and over in our experiences, it's true, right? It is. You've proven it to yourself. Those other people that have said that, yeah, they're right. But guess what? Beliefs generally come from patterns. So we got to just shake up those patterns, because now we're going to repeat it over and over and over again. If I repeated I was not smart enough over and over and over again in college, I would have never started with a 2.1 GPA and ended with a 3.2. If I just kept with that original thought, you're never going to be smart enough, Kim. You're always just going to be a pretty athlete. Stamp that on you for the rest of your life. No! Because I needed to create a new pattern. Because that is what we accept that's true. So yeah, you're not wrong with thinking all of those thoughts, because that was the pattern. That was the experience that you went through. So however you went through that, something in our experience must cause us to accept a thought as true in order for it to become a belief. Now, how can we do this in our future, our present belief, to get to our present expectations? So I'm going to have you guys go through an exercise that is really going to hone in on what is your past? Like, what is that? What are old experiences? Something you can't change. And then I'm going to have you go through what's the present moment. What's those beliefs? And then we're going to go to the future. This is going to be a worksheet that you're going to have after you listen to this, because the present moment is the window of opportunity allowing you to step out of the past. You are allowed to choose something different today. You are able to begin to create a better future. And when we start to really engross that and ask ourselves these questions, you're going to start breaking through. So ask yourself this, check in right now. What am I thinking about that is making me feel this way? Because our feelings serve as that guidance. It kind of signals where we're going to go. Straight, backwards, right, left, diagonal, zigzag, all of the above. Because when what you are anticipating feels like something you don't want, your internal guidance system is telling you that you should probably avoid that. So I shared with you earlier on this call about how I did not want to share about my past pain. No, that made me feel anxious. So you're going to go through different stages. But then after I shared it, I felt calm. Then I felt excited about the future. And then I was smiling ear to ear because, oh my gosh, I let that out and I'm making action on it. And then I'm joyful. But the stages that we go through are the negative, the neutral, and the positive. So we go through level 0, in my mind, depressed. So how does that past make you feel? Depressed, angry, anxious, calm, excited, happy, and joyful. Where are you on that spectrum right now? Because that is why when we say, oh my God, I'm so sad, and all of a sudden we're so angry about it, and then you're like, oh my God, this makes me anxious every time I feel about it. Okay, I'm releasing it. I feel a little bit calmer. Now I'm getting excited because I'm letting it out. Now I'm finding happiness because I'm sharing it with someone else that's not just me, a pen and paper at least. And then I'm joyful because I'm breaking through. This is what we go through when we think about our past and our beliefs and our thoughts and those experiences. Now we got to check in on where we are on that spectrum. And that worksheet's going to really help you with really defining that. So if you don't like the choices you've made, it's really easy for us to look back later and wonder why you didn't make different choices. But that really comes up because the benefits of other choices weren't present in your mind at the time you made that choice. Think about that for a second. Present in your mind. When I said my mom had the best tools and resources she could do, she didn't have it present in her mind. You stumbled across my page, something clicked for you. You're now getting more tools and resources. I reached out to one of my dearest friends and one of the top high performance coaches within Brendon Burchard's team. And I said, I need your help. Can't live like this any longer. I can't work like this. That wasn't present for me 17 years ago, 15 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 3 years ago. It started just coming to surface. 2, a little bit more. 1, I see it. 6 months ago, it's possible. Now, it's here. I have a choice. So your attention plays a critical role in what is available to when we make those kind of decisions. So you may be beating yourself up of how you dealt with the past or how you're dealing with a current situation. But guess what? You didn't have the tools and the resources or even the attention towards it. Because our behaviors and what we do with that and how we act on it is our physical responses we make based off our thoughts and feelings. That's the best you could have done. Please give yourself that grace. Please. And I get the chills because I'm giving myself the exact same advice right now. I have fear of judgment from my family. Total fear. But I also didn't have those thoughts and feelings when I made those decisions all years ago to continue to ignore it. So let's think about our behaviors and how we can keep on going forward. Because these are including like activities, interactions, even your posture as I stand up and speak a little differently. Because behavior generally follows from how we feel. I feel sad, so I stay at home. And I won't go to the movies with my friends. What we often don't realize is that our behavior has a big effect on how we feel. Behaviors are separate from our feelings. So we got to really associate that. And we can choose behaviors that are different from how we feel, just like a workout. That's stuff that we've been learning for a while. I don't feel like working out. Well, guess what? I'm going to go make action and do it, and I feel better. This goes for the same when you're in a rut, when you're in a bad environment, and when you think you can't go any longer. Same rule applies. So there's these components of this environment, and this is your second worksheet. Because the components of our everything working together, and you're going to see environment, belief, future expectations, preference, feeling, choice, and behavior. So you're going to go through an exercise of how to really anticipate this. Because we want to anticipate with the outcome. This is what reinforces us to change the behavior and also brings up old behaviors, old patterns. So let's take an environment, for example. So Susie gets invited to a party last minute. Susie's belief: the last minute invite was not sincere, and that person who invited her really doesn't want her there. Future expectation: because of her belief, Susie expects that if she goes, she'll have a bad time. Preference: Susie decides that it's just something that is not something that she wants to get into. Feelings: Susie starts to feel sad about the situation. Choice: Susie had several options. She imagines that if she goes, it will be unpleasant, and that staying home would allow her to avoid unpleasant situations. She stops there and doesn't continue any other options. Behavior: Susie decides to stay home. So this is an example that if Susie recognized that her negative anticipation was causing her to feel bad, she could have consciously, this is cognitive, that you're conscious, because a lot of this is subconscious and we're bringing this out, chosen to anticipate something more positive. She could have had fun at the party, whether or not she was invited last minute, and then focus on generating those ideas. She could have been like a different belief. These last invitations is a great opportunity to do something different. And then it could have led to her enjoying the party. She'll have an opportunity to meet more people, and she'll have a good time anyway. But you see where it held her back. So ask yourself this, as you're doing this exercise, this next worksheet: is there something I want more than I could choose to expect instead? It's huge. It's huge. So we got to stop and notice as you experience your environment. Because remember that everything you think and do is leading to the creation of something in the future experience. Everything you do. That's why we've been in this same pattern. Notice whether what you anticipate is creating something you wish to occur. Because when we're aware, observe whether your actions are reinforcing old beliefs. This is going to be huge. Could you take a different situation that would lead to something you thought would be a different experience? Or what you would rather be a different experience? As you become more familiar with observing the various components of that human experience, which you're going to go through those 7 components, make sure to notice whether you're expecting it is what you want. Because if it's not, you can consciously decide to expect a more desirable outcome. And then this is where you're being intentional and purposeful when you choose your behavior to act accordingly. I hope this brings you guys so much peace and so much grace. And I look forward to seeing your worksheets, because this is the kind of work that's going to get you forward.